Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Marshall. I was really excited for this movie, going in with a pretty good knowledge of Thurgood Marshall and the many great things he was able to achieve throughout his life and career. So I was excited to see how they played it out here on the big screen in this film. And overall, it was a pretty solid film. So let's go ahead and talk about those positives. First of all, I think the script is really good. I think it's just a solid script overall. And in particular, the dialogue in this film is really good. It's witty, it's snappy, it's all very intelligently crafted. Just the writing was very solid. And this movie played out just as well as a courtroom drama as it did more of a biopic or a civil rights story. It was so exhilarating and fun to watch. I just had a really good time. They injected humor in at all of the perfect places, and they injected in that heartfelt feeling when it was needed as well. So I thought the writing and the script were really good. I also found the acting to be very good. Josh Gad was really funny, but really believable here, and I thought it worked really well. This might actually be my favorite performance from Josh Gad thus far. But all of our background actors did well. Kate Hudson was fine. She didn't blow me away or anything, but she was good. Dan Stevens kind of was in that boat of good as well. And then Chadwick Boseman delivered. But I do have a little bit of a bone to pick when it comes to the casting choice of Chadwick Boseman here in this film, and kind of Hollywood at large. So, while his performance was fantastic, he almost always delivers a pretty fantastic performance, so that's not a surprise here. And I appreciated just the gravitas that he brought to this legendary figure, and I appreciated his performance at large, so I don't have a problem with Chadwick himself or his portrayal of Thurgood Marshall. I kind of have a problem with his casting and what that represents in Hollywood in general. So Hollywood executives out there, studio execs, I want you to know, Chadwick Boseman is not the only talented, young, up-and-coming black male actor. Oh yeah, and there are female actors of color as well that can do a good job and lead a film. Girl Trip says hi. But we've had Chadwick Boseman as Jackie Robinson. We've had Chadwick Boseman as James Brown. Now we've had Chadwick Boseman as Thurgood Marshall. Then we look at something like Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. So not only is it Chadwick Boseman getting all of these roles of legendary, historic black figures, and that in and of itself is kind of a problem. We also have the problem that I haven't really seen Chadwick Boseman playing roles that are not explicitly for black actors only. Including Black Panther, these roles are written specifically for black actors. So that's a problem to me, that I haven't seen Chadwick able to use the success and the great skill he has shown with each and every film I just listed to catapult into more colorblind roles in Hollywood, roles that don't come with an assigned race to them. But also Hollywood, I see that you have tunnel vision and are just casting the same one young black actor over and over and over again in these roles. You can branch out sometime. But again, Boseman himself was fantastic in this film. Now back to the overall at-large positives here. And the next one is that I really loved that they played up the parallels of what racism looked like in America during this time. They played up the parallel in the 40s to World War II and what was happening over in the Holocaust. I think that in many instances, with those signs and with the way that people were acting, they played up the parallels to the 1940s in America dealing with race relations and 2017 America dealing with race relations. I also thought it was wonderful imagery just to see as this person was fighting for civil rights and winning these small battles when it came to the civil rights movement, standing next to a whites-only drinking fountain. I mean, that was a really profound and deep image, just that one still image that we got there was something to see and really powerful to me. So now, as for the negatives here in this film, I mentioned before that I was excited to see this movie because I went in with a pretty substantial knowledge of Thurgood Marshall and what he had done, and, you know, obviously the big groundbreaking cases he had won, as well as being on the Supreme Court. But saying all of that, we could have, you know, movie after movie after movie about Thurgood Marshall and what he did and the life he led, and what a pivotal figure he was. So this movie was very focused in and obviously very centered on this one case, and this one case kind of broke things open for him, and it really kind of broke things open when it came to the law in dealing with civil rights, so I understand why clearly this was chosen. But a man with such a vast history and such a vast career to choose from, you kind of leave feeling a little bit like, one, why are there not more movies about him? So maybe that'll inspire more. But also, I mean, just focusing in on one single aspect almost feels like it's not doing him justice. And then when it comes to the film itself, I think it's a pretty safe film overall. So I think they do all of these parallels, but they're all kind of background parallels that just make their way in and make their way out very freely and, you know, nicely. But I don't think this movie ever really gets challenging. I don't think this film ever really challenges the idea of race or goes deeper. It stays at a safe surface level of race relations without ever daring to go beyond kind of a feel-good biopic. And then when you combine both, the fact that we had such a small sample size with the fact that the film didn't want to rock the boat too hard, we never get too far into Thurgood as a person, as a man. We get these little points that are brought up, but then we don't really see the fallout afterward. We don't really see those points followed through. One, because we didn't continue going into the actual timeline of what occurred next, but two, because we wanted to end it on this up note, so we didn't want to see some of the fallout or see what came next. So we do get this fight sequence that kind of shows the prejudice that's happening, and I do like the encounter between Feinstein and Marshall. That kind of shows again the oversweeping racism and prejudice that takes place, but we never really get into the nitty-gritty here. We never leave that kind of safe, feel-good biopic feeling. And I think the music actually aided in that feel-good biopic feel. It was very kind of like bouncy, kind of hokey music that took me out of the film a little bit. We would get this really rich, wonderful, like jazz kind of feel, and then it bounced into this hokey. So that's all to say, I think Marshall is a solid film, a good film, about a figure that deserves a great film. And hopefully this might open the door for Thurgood Marshall to get more films and subsequent material made about him, because all the material is already there for you. But I wish maybe it had gone deeper. It had dared to push the boundary just a little bit more. So for staying safe, I'm going to go ahead and give Marshall a matinee. It does a good job about introducing this figure to many who might not know much about Thurgood Marshall, but it's not going to challenge you. It's not going to push you as a moviegoer and as a person, really. So I think a nice, breezy, solid matinee is my recommendation for Marshall. So, that has been my review of Marshall. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Marshall, or have you already seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts down below. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!